on the planet. Once again, 30 athletes from all walks of life came together in the African nation of Botswana during one of the most cutthroat and pulse-pounding events the sport has ever seen. Who will rise to the top? And who will see their chance at glory slip away? Qualifying Group 1 begins their quest for the final. Leaders will emerge, and others will fall. This is the Commerce World's Strongest Man. Welcome to the 2016 World's Strongest Man. Our host is the picturesque setting of Kasane, Botswana, minutes away from Chobe National Park, home to one of the largest populations of elephants in all of Africa. Brent Stover with Aaron Taylor in Group 1's qualifying round gets underway at Kasane's Hot Springs with the loading race.
The strongmen need to carry 3 barrels, each weighing 275 pounds over a 12-meter course. They must load all the barrels onto the platforms and take their hands off.
3 of the 6 athletes of Group 1 make their way to the start line. Hear now a little bit more about them in our Commerce Power Profiles.
Luke Stoltman, Great Britain. I'm pretty stoked, to be honest. This is my first time competing in the World's Strongest Man, and I want to make a name for myself. I'm sure I can take some scalps. I'm confident in my abilities. I want to say, look, I'm right to be here. I've earned my place, and that's what I hope to show this year.
Matjaž Belšak, Slovenia. Of course, you learn with training also. Always you learn new things. More important is this stuff, how you go on competition, how you feel, how you're thinking. It's very important.
Yes!
If you're on World's Strongest Man, the top guys who are the best in the world, and if you don't like and enjoy to watch them, they're in the wrong sport.
Robert Oberst, the United States. I've been holding on to that for a year. I've been waiting to say the. Let me be me. I'm looking at this year for the first time through the eyes of trying to enjoy the moment. I have a son now, and I'm thinking, how do I want to be an example? And what I want for him, I want for everyone, I want them to enjoy their lives. And we're all here to bang, man. For me, I think the mental game is really important. I mean, we're lifting maximal weights, and I think if somebody's thinking about you and not what they're doing, you've got an advantage.
Hey, your guy OB, he's got some serious personality. Here we go in heat number 1 of the loading race.
Well, Luke Stoltman out very quickly in lane 2. But Belšak doing a nice job of getting his barrel on. Robert Oberst struggling with this first barrel.
Oberst has a lot of ground to make up. And Stoltman out to a nice lead here. 275-pound barrels. He's off and now on for his 3rd barrel in that middle lane.
Stoltman doing a really nice job with his transitions, which are key to this event, Brent.
Stoltman finishing strong as you see the clock there at the bottom of your screen. And now he's struggling. Belšak with a late rally in the far lane. And the hands are off. Belšak takes the heat. And now he cheers on Stoltman, and now Stoltman is off. And big OB in that near lane. Well, he's going to be able to finish this.
Well, oxygen is the fuel that makes the muscles go. And it's clear that the big 6'7", 405-pounder is struggling, sucking gas.
Well, Belšak is the story here, the 23-year-old, making his 2nd World's Strongest Man appearance. 3 barrels in 46.95. Yes!
Well, no sooner did we compliment Luke Stoltman on his ability to transition well that he dropped that critical barrel, which is what allowed Belšak to recover and win this heat.
An impressive late rally for him. Now heat 2 of the loading race. And time to meet the other 3 athletes of group number 1.
Martins Licis, United States. I just can't believe I'm in Botswana, competing with all these other monsters out there. Rarely do I get to feel like the little guy, and I love that. Absolutely, I belong here. I've been lifting for a long time, since I was 9 years old. I love this. I know my way around my body, around weights, better than a lot of people. I beat people that are much bigger than me, just because I know how to move my body.
Mark Felix, Great Britain. Since growing up as a kid, I just love lifting heavy, throwing stuff around, you know. It's just great, you know, to just express yourself, you know, the way you feel. I'm looking forward to the qualifiers. Once I get through that, then I'll think more about the final. I'm looking forward to doing the show. It's going to be great for me.
Johannes Årsjö, Sweden. I did my first World's Strongest Man 2008, so I have qualified every year. If you want to do what's the most extreme of all the lifting sports there is, I think strongman is the most extreme one you can do. It tests all kinds of strength, you know, static strength, endurance, and just about everything, and it's brutal to your body. It's just worth it because it's the worst you can do, and for some reason, you just want to do the worst you can do. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I think the biggest fight is with my own demons. I just want to do as good as I can, and I want to perform well. I don't want to get injured. I want to make the finals and do really, really good there.
So here we go with heat number 2. Licis in that top lane. Felix in the middle in a big-time struggle to begin.
And look at Johannes Årsjö. He chose to carry the barrel vertically, which allowed him to easily set it on top of the table, saving precious time.
Licis has kept the advantage. His first World's Strongest Man appearance. Important to get off to a good start, and he has done just that.
Well, we just heard him say that he knew his way around his body. He seems to know his way around these barrels as well.
Martins Licis, making it look easy. And now Årsjö, hands off, he finishes second in the heat. And Felix has tapped out.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a time of 41.01 seconds, the winner of the loading race from the USA, Martin Licis.
3 barrels in 41.01 for the American Licis.
Yes. Well, the loading race is all about bicep strength, upper back strength, and athleticism. And it's clear that Licis had all of what it took to win this heat.
He's a relative unknown in the strongman world until this competition. He comes out strong, winning the first event. He picks up 6 points as we head to 𝗚𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗣.
Martins, you absolutely crushed that event.
Oh yeah, you know, that's exactly what I came here to do.
Well, how'd you find a handle on that barrel?
Fine, no problem. It's like a big baby. Had to be cradled and loved.
Sets you up for the next events. Which one looks the toughest for you?
Maybe Fingal Fingers, just because I don't have experience on it.
One more. Is there a tough guy in this group, or is it you?
Me. Absolutely me.
When we return, Group 1 tests their grip on the Hercules Hold and the unforgiving Fingal's Fingers. This is the Commerce World's Strongest Man.
The Commerce World's Strongest Man on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by the Commerce Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas-style entertainment, Los Angeles attractions.
In late winter, the Okavango Delta here in Botswana swells to almost 3 times its usual size, making for the greatest concentration of wildlife in all of Africa, and one of the world's most magnificent displays of natural beauty. Aaron and I have not only had the great privilege of experiencing this great place, we've also had the opportunity to witness 30 of the strongest men on the planet going after this year's crown.
Yeah, these are 30 of the strongest athletes you'll ever see assembled in one event. But for as strong and powerful as they are, many will be humbled by the daunting challenges here. For these events will not only test their strength, they'll also test their endurance and mental toughness as well.
For their second event of the qualifying round, the 6 strongmen in group number 1, they had to endure the aptly named Hercules Hold. And here's how their quest went down.
The Hercules Hold is one of the oldest events that we do.
The Hercules Hold is a test of strength, test of grip.
It's just basically you take a bunch of weight in your hand and see who can hold it the longest, you know? There's nothing tricky about it.
There's a lot of mental and physical strength there.
It's literally who's got the most guts.
From Scotland, Luke Stoltman!
The first second, you take the initial strain, and then the full weight gets in your arms, and you can feel your shoulders kind of pulling away from your bones. It's searing pain. It's almost like someone's digging a knife in sometimes in your front delts.
It's definitely a test of grip, and also positioning is something I just found out because I just held it straight on. I made the naive mistake thinking that holding it straight on would be better because I'd be more relaxed.
With a time of 37.29 seconds, Martin Licis.
I was in the yard yesterday, we were warming up, and I was trying to figure out the barrels, which were really tricky. And I felt a tweak, went and saw the docs, and they said it was a little partial tear. I didn't work all year not to go, so we went. And then pretty sure it was the first barrel. The first barrel took the rest of the bicep. I flew all the way out here to Botswana. I wanted to strap it up. I don't want to disappoint anyone. So I think a couple minutes.
Robert has a very sore bicep, so this is going to be difficult for him. So I want as much cheering as possible. He's going to be 36 seconds.
At first, all I was thinking about was the pain. As soon as it pulled my arm straight, it was excruciating. My arm hasn't been straight for about a day and a half now. It was pretty brutal, but then all I could think about was my son. You know, it got me through the 42 seconds or whatever it was, so thanks, Atlas.
Robert Oberst is a very good friend of mine, and there was no way that he would leave this place without sending us all a message. And he did just that.
Let's hear it for Robert Oberst! Mark Felix!
Mark Felix has more experience than all of us, just about combined.
You got Mark Felix, or come up last. He's renowned for his grip strength. I mean, the guy's hands are probably twice the size of my hands.
Usually you just have to feel it, you have to know how to feel it, because I didn't feel any pulling in my shoulder whatsoever. It just my grip, that's it. I just had to hold on forever.
With a time of 57.17 seconds, Mark Felix!
Yeah, the Botswana crowd, they're crazy. They're very good, you know. It's keep me going. You know, just the support from them was just amazing.
So Mark Felix on top. Although Robert Oberst came in second, he's got a torn left bicep, and unfortunately that forces him to withdraw. Martin's third place result, the Hercules Hold, keeps him in the lead after a disastrous first event. Felix, he gets into second place, tied with Belšak. Here's Kaz once again with Licis.
The next event, the merciless Fingal's Fingers. I'm joined by upcoming United States superstar, Martins Licis. Please tell us, as you're about to take on this event in the next couple of minutes, what are the physical attributes it's going to take in order to manhandle the fingers?
Well, I'm just gonna imagine like it's a big, fat friend of mine that's really drunk and on the just splayed out on the floor. Gotta flip him over on the couch real quick so he's nice and comfortable.
But how about the position?
Oh yes,
a lot of power from the legs.
It's basically just gonna be like an awkward clean and pop.
And how about the mental approach? When you come into this, you know that they're gonna get longer and taller and heavier. How do you deal with that?
I'm gonna go steady through the first three, just focus on my quick hands, and the last two really power, just save all my aggression and power for the last couple.
Well, thank you for that, Martins.
More of the Commerce World's Strongest Man coming up. Welcome back to the Commerce World's Strongest Man. We're in Kasane, Botswana for the third of 6 tests of strength for qualifying Group 1, Fingal's Fingers.
Well, this is a big man event where each strong man will have to lift 5 fingers ranging from 320 to 380 pounds. The total weight is 1,750 pounds. They gotta flip these fingers over 180 degrees.
Luke Stoltman of Great Britain.
Representing Sweden, Johannes Årsjö.
He's in 5th after after 2 events. First finger is 320, then 340, then 350, 360, and as you mentioned, 380 to close it out.
Årsjö looking powerful on this first finger. Great form and technique. Little bobble there, doesn't know which way it goes. We take a look at Stoltman, who's a little bit shorter and maybe struggling with this. This is all about leverage, acceleration, and then having good hip stability to be able to hold this finger. Brent, as these fingers get heavier, they get harder to push over, obviously, because you lose leverage.
It's tough to maintain a rhythm. That said, Årsjö seems to have a pretty nice one going.
What I like about how he's attacking this finger is he has one hand on the pole at the same time. Look at that, taking a couple steps with the pole supported with just one hand, and that's what allows him to finish with an impressive heat.
So Årsjö wins the heat, getting all 5 fingers in 45.43. Stoltman gets 3 fingers in 25.30.
Where Årsjö told us that his mindset would be at play, and his cardiovascular training came into play as well, but he had all it took and then some.
Kaz is with Årsjö.
Johannes, after some bad injuries in the past, I noticed a distinct difference in your attitude coming in this year. Tell us about it.
I have had so many injuries, and I never really got the opportunity to show everybody how good I am, and I really want to show my fans, the crowd, you, everybody that's here, what I can do. So I'm going to bring everything I have, and since I already done a little mistake in the previous events, I'm going to bring everything I have in the last ones.
Great job in the fingers.
Thank you very much, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Slovenia, Matjaž Belšak!
So Matjaž Belšak tied for second after 2 events. He's going to compete alone due to the injury withdrawal of Robert Oberst. He's tied for second with the oldest man in the competition, Felix.
To do well in the fingers, you must have balanced strength, because this event will reveal any deficiencies that you have in your training.
Again, it's a 320-pounder, then 340, 350, 360, and 380.
Belšak ripped through those first 2 fingers, but remember, cardiovascular training comes into play. You have to wonder if he spent too much lifting those first fingers, because he's going to need all the strength he has on these last 2 fingers, which weigh 360 and 380 pounds respectively.
Seems like kind of a disadvantage to go all by yourself, but he's doing it.
Well, you hear that crowd in the background. They're giving him some love, trying to get him pumped up. This is where it gets tough, Brent, because you have to get past that sticky point, and I don't think Belšak's going to be able to get it, and he doesn't.
I tell you, the support of this crowd, if this is the way it's going to be all competition, we're in for some fun.
You see how balanced and strong you have to be, but the weight of that 380-pound finger is just too much for this impressive strongman.
He gets 4 fingers in 33.61, and Belšak into second place. When we return, Martins Licis and Felix take on Fingal's fingers. Can Martins beat out Johannes Årsjö's leading time and save his first place standing? Find out next on the Commerce World's Strongest Man.
The Commerce World's Strongest Man on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by the Commerce Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas-style entertainment, Los Angeles attractions.
Welcome back to the Commerce World's Strongest Man. We've shut down 𝗚𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗣 Road in Kasane, Botswana for Fingal's Fingers, the third of 6 events for qualifying Group 1. 3 athletes have already taken on the fingers, with Johannes Årsjö currently in the lead, working through all 5 fingers in a time of 45.43.
Licis!
So Martins currently in first place, and Mark is tied in second place with Matjaž Belšak. 6'4", 320. He's 50 years old. Aaron, in this competition, he's 2.5 years older than the second oldest competitor.
What Felix is able to do at his age is nothing short of spectacular.
Again, 63-20 for that first of 5 fingers.
Licis out of the gate quickly. Look at that power and acceleration to get those fingers over. Now take a look at Mark Felix. He's got those big biceps, parts of the body that helped him in things like the Hercules Hold, but I'm noticing he's unable to straighten his elbows, which gives him less leverage and makes him shorter, but Licis has no problem with that. Look at his elbows. They're locked out.
Again, the time to beat is 45.43. Årsjö has that time. Licis trying to beat it.
He's struggling with this last finger. Felix as well. Licis, can he do it? Oh, too much. Looks like he made a business decision on that last one.
Felix checked out a little bit before Licis did. Play into the crowd. I mean, this guy Licis, he's bringing a new feel to World's Strongest Man this year as he gets 4 fingers.
He sure is, Brent. And sometimes as a rookie, you don't know what you don't know. But one thing we do know about Martins Licis is he's putting the rest of these strong men on notice.
Licis wasn't able to beat out Johannes Årsjö. He still got 2nd place. Johannes was the only competitor to get all 5 fingers. Licis' 2nd place finish of the fingers helped him to maintain the lead at the top of the board. Årsjö and Belšak are tied for 2nd with 11 points. Felix and Stoltman are trailing, tied for 4th place with 9 points. Next time on the Commerce World's Strongest Man, Group 1 continues their quest with 3 more events, battling for the top 2 spots to make it to the final. With the loss of Robert Oberst, will more injuries plague the remaining athletes? For Aaron Taylor, Bill Kazmaier, and our entire CBS crew, I'm Brent Stover. In association with IMG Original Content, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Previously on the Commerce World's Strongest Man, the 6 men from Group 1 began their journey to see which 2 will advance to the final. When Robert Oberst suffered a bicep injury, the group quickly shrank to 5. Newcomer Martins Licis cemented his early lead with unexpected dominance in the loading race, while Mark Felix and Johannes Årsjö exhilarated the crowd, winning the 2nd and 3rd events. And now, with just 3 events remaining, will trailing Luke Stoltman be able to overcome the odds and take a position in the final? The race is tight, the events are epic, anything can happen. Welcome back to the 39th edition of the Commerce World's Strongest Man here in magnificent Kasane, Botswana, a gracious host for this year's event. I'm Brent Stover alongside Aaron Taylor as qualifying Group 1 begins their 4th event, the squat lift.
The strongmen will have 60 seconds to squat and lift a ridiculous 700 pounds. Now, this can be a dangerous event as it's very hard on the groin, knees, and the legs.
We are located on the Moana golf course. Not sure I've ever seen a squat lift of cartoonish proportions in the middle of a golf course.
Well, let me tell you what, speaking of cartoons, one of the things you'll notice about this event is the thick bar. There are no ball bearings like you would normally see in a conventional gym, so not only do these guys have to lift it, they also have to keep that immense weight steady.
Luke Stoltman tied in 4th with Mark Felix after 3 events. He's an offshore surveyor on oil rigs, working 14 to 16 hours a day.
And squat!
Yeah, you'll see the uneven bounce there. It's very critical that these strongmen keep the weight even, because when the weight starts to shift, just like it did there for Stoltman, it becomes too much for one of your legs.
1 rep, and that's it for Stoltman of Great Britain.
Yeah, you see the bounce, the left side of the weight hits first for him and then the right, and you see the angle of the bar across his shoulders just puts too much pressure on his right leg.
So the 31-year-old, 6'3", 317, making his first World's Strongest Man appearance in event 4, somewhat disappointing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Please, a big Botswana welcome from Great Britain, Mark Felix!
So here's a 50-year-old Mark Felix, tied for 4th after 3 events. Keep in mind, in this event, Aaron, you've got to touch both sides of the bar for it to count as a rep.
And when you have 700 pounds across your shoulder made out of metal, you see that wobble right there. And Mark Felix, just like we saw Stoltman before him, gets off balance, and it proves too much.
So very disappointing for Felix. He looks to be okay.
When you're lifting 700 pounds, it's so important on the descent that you do it under control and even. Because when you don't, this is the result. You have too much of that weight on one of your legs, and it's just impossible to continue to lift it vertically.
Now, Felix is typically better at this event. So here's Johannes Årsjö, tied in 2nd with Matjaž Belšak after 3 events.
See Årsjö there trying to get his mind right. The strong men, it's very important for them to place this bar perfectly and get the right height and the right fit before they ever even back out of the safety apparatus.
The number to beat is 1 rep.
Looking heavy for him already before he's attempted his first rep.
There's a clean first rep.
Little pause down there at the bottom, but he's recovering nicely, looking strong. That third one,
Grabbing the inner part of his right thigh in that groin area. So he moves into the lead with 3 reps, but the bigger issue here as he slams the hat down would be that groin.
The squat lift, like most of the events here in the strongman, will find the weak points in your training, and clearly Årsjö having a problem on the upper inside edge and that groin area of his right leg. He was looking good prior to that too, Brent.
Phenomenal work to capture that story by our camera crew, and this is a developing story. He got off to a great start. He leads in this event, but you can see him getting help from the trainers.
Injuries are an unfortunate reality of this sport, like many sports, but what's also a reality is how strong and tough these guys are. Be interesting to see if Årsjö can recover.
The 31-year-old from Sweden will limp away after getting 3 reps with a groin injury. Miserable results from Stoltman and Mark Felix, and a devastating injury to Årsjö. Will Licis and Matjaž Belšak suffer the same demise? The drama continues when we come back to the Commerce World's Strongest Man.
The Commerce World's Strongest Man on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by the Commerce Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas-style entertainment, Los Angeles attractions.
Magnificent Kasane, Botswana, a bigger-than-life experience, making for a perfect host to this year's edition of the Commerce World's Strongest Man. Welcome back to the Moana Golf Course, where qualifying Group 1 will continue their 4th event, the squat lifts. As we check out the results so far, Årsjö leads with 3 reps, but he's going to be withdrawing from the competition with a groin injury. You see Stoltman 1 rep, Felix none, 2 athletes remain. And Matjaž Belšak was tied in 2nd with Årsjö, but Årsjö's withdrawal puts him in 2nd alone.
Belšak's only 6'1", so his shorter limbs should be an advantage here in this event.
The number to beat is 3.
Squat.
Look at that wide lower base, trying to create the foundation, but man, Brent, he was really off balance on that first rep. Going to be hard to recover.
Same with the 2nd.
Talked about the importance of stabilizing that weight across his shoulders. Look at it, it's already at an angle. Tremendous strength for him, not only to lift it, but to stabilize this weight.
For all the issues you mentioned, he goes into the lead here with his 4th rep. That's impressive.
See that wobble starting to take its toll, but he powers through it.
Let's see if he's okay. Wobbled a little bit at the end. The last rep didn't count, yet he still does get 5 reps, which puts him at the top of the leaderboard.
Saw right when he got done there, his legs were starting to get that speed wobble, just extremely fatigued. You see him come down on the descent, nice and even on that rep, and he just powers through with those glutes and quads and hams and hips locking through. Then that left knee locks out, and he's forced to drop it.
Martins Licis here getting ready. He was relatively unknown in the strongman world before this competition. Now leading the group, he's the subject of today's Commerce Power Profile.
When I was 11 years old, I was total couch potato and loved just sitting on the couch playing video games. And one day my dad had enough and was just like, okay, son, you're coming into the gym and you're working out with me. And I was like, I didn't want to do it and I hated it at first, but he said, okay, you give it 1 year and if you don't like it, you could quit. So I worked out and I hated it, but I just grew addicted to it. And eventually just grew strong. And by the time I was 15, I was already stronger than all the kids in my school. Started training teachers and started training the sports teams in my school and just loved lifting. In the summers, I would go to Latvia and I would help around on the farm. And my grandfather would have me moving rocks and stones for him just so he could carve and make sculptures. And he really just showed me how to move stuff. Then I saw on TV these guys doing basically farm labor for competition and thought, yeah, I could do that. That doesn't look that bad. Might as well have some fun with it. Now, just starstruck being here, surrounded by all these guys I've been looking up to. Now I get to beat them.
So Martins Licis, originally from Latvia,
From the United States of America.
representing the United States. He leads this group after 3 events.
You put me in the center.
Licis, as he approached the bar, a couple things you notice. First, those knee wraps are wrapped so tight it makes it hard for these strongmen to walk. But he's also in his socks, which give his feet better contact with the ground, which gives them more confidence and stability as they lift the weight.
Squat.
So here's Licis with the number to beat at 5.
Squat.
Originally from Latvia,
Squat.
and now he lives in California representing the United States, and he's off to a good start here.
He's off to a very good start. Look at those big, strong, thick, powerful legs. A little off balance there, but strong enough to push through it.
Squat.
Now he has tied it, and there it is. He wins the event, and now it's for show at this point.
Yes, it is. Look at that confident smile, the rookie putting on a show indeed.
Nicknamed the Dragon.
With 7 repetitions, the winner of the strongman.
Says he loses himself in the moment, and this is a really nice moment for the American.
He may have lost himself, but he didn't lose focus on what's necessary to dominate in the squat lift. He looked pretty confident there. I think he had more in the tank, and that smile says as much.
So Licis wins it. Johannes Årsjö, because of that groin injury, had to withdraw from the competition. Licis takes the event with 7 reps. Licis has cemented his lead with 21 points. Belšak is the next closest with 16. An unimpressive showing by Felix with only 9. And the field has been narrowed down to only 4 competitors in this group. Kasane, Botswana, the cultural hub of 𝗚𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗣 National Park and home to one of the largest concentrations of wildlife in the world.
And we mean that literally. Aaron and I, in town alone, have bumped into elephants, buffalo, and warthogs. Well, they don't know the meaning of personal space.
No, they don't. And it has truly been a once-in-a-lifetime experience. But for one of our contestants, he'll go home with the crown jewel of this sport, making this trip twice as memorable.
And for Group 1, only 2 events remain, and only 2 guys are going to make the final. One man who's made an enormous splash is Martins Licis of the United States.
Martins has been very impressive in his World's Strongest Man debut, winning 2 of his first 4 events. But the thing I love most about this kid is his infectious enthusiasm and his confidence. It's clear he wants to win, but he's going to have fun doing it.
If Martins is going to seal the deal, he's got to be strong in the final 2 events. And keep in mind, double points are going to be awarded in the final event. So anything, truly anything, can happen down the stretch here. It's the Dumbbell Press and the Atlas Stones as we continue with the Commerce World's Strongest Man.
30 men from around the globe convened in the magnificent city of Kasane, Botswana. They were greeted by the locals with enthusiastic open arms. The Minister of Environment, Wildlife and Tourism welcomed the 30 athletes at an opening ceremony, showcasing the incredible culture that Botswana has to offer.
The most amazing thing is how many times it's been said, so many times, that sport, culture, and tradition know no boundaries.
4 of those athletes from Group 1 competed in the dumbbell press, and here's how it went down.
The dumbbell press is basically have this giant circus dumbbell. You swing up from the ground, clean up to your shoulder, and you have to press it up with one arm, drop it, and do it as many times as you can in 75 seconds.
And that's where it really taxes you in your heart. I mean, you're breathing, your pulse rate must be through the roof. I mean, we're gasping for air by the time we get up here. That's just one part of the movement. We've got the final press to do, which makes it that much harder.
The beautiful thing about the dumbbell press is if you get the positioning just right and you give it a nice jump, the weight will just lock out into position and you just need to balance it from there on.
When the dumbbell press, I was up against the local hero, Mark Felix. So it was a bit of a pressure situation for me going up against him. Mark's someone that I've looked up to since I've started strongman. He's a phenomenal athlete at 50 years old. He's still pushing everyone. For me to go up against him was a great privilege. Mark seemed to go out and certainly pressed a few extra reps at the start than me, but I think I just paced myself a little bit better than Mark. I heard 10 seconds left and I just put the last dumbbell down on my 4th rep and I thought, right, this is it, now or never. And I noticed Mark had missed his last rep. I managed to get it up, 5 seconds, 4, 3, pop it, 1 second left and I got it. You've got to get emotional sometimes. I mean, it's my first time. I'm so proud to be here.
Give it up for Felix!
For me to beat someone like Mark in the dumbbell press is just dreams come true for me out here, especially in Botswana against the local hero that is Mark Felix.
I knew that Mark Felix, he's probably gunning for some points in this dumbbell press, and so that way when he gets to the stones he could go all out for the double points and catch up. I needed to put some extra space between him and I, so that's why I was just looking out for the next best reps that were done. And I knew I was not going to beat Matjaž. I mean, he's an animal at dumbbell press.
Yes! Ladies and gentlemen, with 10 repetitions from Slovenia, Matjaž Belšak!
So I just needed to beat the next best guy, and I did just that.
And with 6 repetitions, give it up for Licis!
Belšak won this event outright with 10 reps. Closest behind Belšak was Licis with 6, Luke Stoltman with 5, and Mark Felix finishing with 4. Only one event remains, and Martins Licis is on top with 26 points. Licis nearly has clinched a spot in the final, barring any disasters in the Atlas Stones. Belšak currently in 2nd. Up next, it's a race to the finish. With double points on the line, the 2 tickets to the Commerce World's Strongest Man final are just 5 stones away.
The Commerce World's Strongest Man on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by the Commerce Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas Style Entertainment, Los Angeles Attractions.
Welcome back to Kasane, Botswana. Group 1's final event, the Atlas Stones, taking place at the Saboba Cultural Village. Aaron, this event looks brutal.
It is brutal, Brent, because our strongmen are going to have to lift 5 stones ranging from 305 to a massive 440 pounds in ascending order.
Mark Felix!
Keep in mind, double points up for grabs. Felix, the oldest man in the competition. And Luke Stoltman making his first World's Strongest Man appearance.
This is a classic test of overall body strength for the strongmen. Mark Felix, an old wily vet, has tremendous upper thoracic back strength to be able to lift these stones and easily drop them onto the top of the platform.
Each man puts up the 330-pounder. Now it's on to the 350-pound stone.
Stoltman putting on a good race here, giving Felix some competition. Look at Felix's big biceps. The same ones that helped him in the Hercules Hold are helping him here.
And now Stoltman has to drop that fourth stone, the 395-pounder. Felix trying to wrap up the event with the 440-pounder.
That 440-pound is unforgiving. It's a mix of concrete and steel. It's going to take all Felix has, and Stoltman with a great effort on the 395-pound stone. But boy, is he feeling it. Look at the wobble.
Now Felix is going to check out. Stoltman, same thing for him. 4 stones for Stoltman, 47.81. And Felix wins the heat, 4 stones and 28.90.
From Great Britain, give it up for Mark Felix!
That was a great performance by Mark Felix. You see that extension of the back and the lower legs getting up on the tippy toes, putting that 395-pounder in its place.
Representing the United States of America, Licis.
He's the leader after 5 events.
Slovenia, Matjaž Belšak.
In second after 5 events. Trying to make his first World's Strongest Man final.
It's going to be interesting to see how Licis does here. He's new to this sport, but look at that great strength to be able to carry that stone that high above his chest to the first platform. Remember, Brent, Licis has been doing this since he was a kid on Grandpa's farm. All that childhood work looks like it's paying off here. This is impressive.
He said he got bored waiting for the World's Strongest Man event, so he went ahead and competed in some wrestling. And here he is, wrestling that final stone.
That's it. What else you got?
He's a showman, that Belšak. Working on that 440-pounder. Not gonna do it. And both men have qualified for the final out of Group 1. Belšak, 4 stones and 32.02.
In a fast time of 34.51. The winner of the group from the USA, Licis.
And Licis gets all 5 in 34.51. These 2 men come out of Group 1 into the final.
Look at that effort and that strength. You don't understand what it takes to be able to lift an object that heavy, that high, but Licis makes it look easy.
His reaction is priceless. In the stones, Licis gets 5 and wins the event. Felix and Belšak and Stoltman all get 4. Felix finished with the best time, but Belšak on to the final, and he's with Kaz.
Matjaž, you're going to the final. You're second behind Martins. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's amazing. That's one of my dream, a goal, life goal. So I'm very happy. Martin did extreme good job. So second place still good enough for the finals. I'm happy, more than happy.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Although Belšak finished 3rd in the Atlas Stones, he finishes 2nd overall. So Belšak and Licis qualify for the final out of Group 1. Oberst and Årsjö had to withdraw with injuries. This season on the Commerce World's Strongest Man, 4 more qualifying groups will battle it out in some of the most grueling, dangerous, and unrelenting events the sport has ever seen, all to decide which of their competitors will make it to the final. With a field of powerful and experienced veterans, as well as some young and fresh newcomers, it's anybody's game. For Aaron Taylor, Bill Kazmaier, and our entire crew, I'm Brent Stover. In association with IMG Original Content, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.